Ah, the scientific method. It is so useful, isn't it? So at the moment, I'm currently considering why is it so easy when you put a vowel. When you change the vowel in between notes that are changing at the same time, why is it all of a sudden easier to change notes rather than when you are simply changing the notes without changing the vowel shape at all within your mouth? For example, I could go ya 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 ya. Why is that so easy? And on the flip side of things, ya ya. Why all of a sudden is it so difficult to switch in between those notes? Part of it, I think, I'm thinking about what I actually just said on a Facebook video, is that sometimes our body uses physical cues in order to complete a different task, right? So before, what I was talking about is when you're playing the piano and you're trying to warm your voice up, sometimes what happens is the physical technique that's happening in your hands is informing what's happening in your voice, and is sort of, if you work in a DAW, you could kind of call it like bussing. It's like a bussing signal almost, that these are the things that are grouped together under the same set, and when I move this dial, these other things move at the same time. Does that make sense? And so sometimes the things that we do in our bodies become physical cues for a certain task that we'd like to accomplish. But it becomes problematic, however, when these physical cues are actually not necessary for completing the task. So, for example, a lot of times when singers produce vibrato, you'll see you'll see jaw shaking, but that actually is not what is producing the vowel. Producing the vibrato, right? We don't need to do that. Certainly, that creates a shake on its own. Right? But we don't need that. Right? So that's not true. But anyway, so back to what I was saying before. I'd like to dive into that and see why that is. And my theory is that because we tend to, at least, this is a good theory. In the English language, I'll just leave it to my language and my personal vocal habits when I speak. We speak in a manner that is what is the word? Okay, not melismatic. What is the word? What is the word? Syllabic. Is that the word, syllabic? I forget. Basically, one note per syllable, per vowel sound. So we're trained mentally, never when we speak, almost never anyway. See, you even hear that? Anyway, those are two notes. Those are three vowels. Anyway, and then a change on the second vowel. Except for sometimes we do slurs, right? But never really changing direct pitches, even that pitches, right? On a single note sound. So isn't that interesting? So perhaps our mind and our bodies are predisposed to use some sort of physical change to instigate the change of the notes. But we have to untrain that in singing and realize that that's actually not necessary. Isn't that interesting? And then certainly I think the pause of the pause that's created by fricative consonants, right? By fricative consonants, by plosive consonants, any sort of consonant that you're going to sing that's going to break the flow of air is certainly going to give your vocal folds an opportunity to reset themselves. And so those are just some things to consider. And we'll explore that. We'll explore that some more, for sure. We'll definitely explore that. Huzzah! Another observation. Okay, so what also is a consequence of speaking a language that is largely syllabic, where there's, I still may be using the wrong word. I'm forgetting all my words, my Gregorian chant words. Anyway, what is a consequence of speaking a language that each syllable receives a single note? What's another consequence of that? Well, in terms of air pressure, once a certain pocket, once your mouth is opened and you're going to express a single pitch, that means that your air pressure is probably going to be stuck for that single moment. That probably means that your air pressure is going to, your body doesn't mind sitting on the air. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, sitting, like you're sitting on your air. Usually it's associated with having a glottal sound, a very forced sound, but also you could consider the fact that your body has already pre-calculated where it wants the voice to go. Like right now, as I'm expressing myself, I'm not thinking, oh, I want the voice to go up. Now I'm doing it on purpose, but it's hard to think about it, right? I'm just merely expressing myself, and my voice is fluctuating in pitch still, right? But in between each of the notes, in between each of the syllables, my voice is able to rest because it's not, my air pressure is able to rest at that pressure, and also the vocal folds, tract, everything is able to rest in that position because it's certain, because of the way that I've been speaking, I've been trained to speak, that nothing's gonna need to move, right? So then when we go to sing and we open our mouth on a single vowel, like I, if I'm gonna sing I, there's so much information and pretext and expectation that your mind has on how to accomplish that task of producing those notes. Does that make sense? So really, when we're singing, we are undoing all of that. And yeah, so there's a lot of work to do there. And then, of course, the way that you naturally speak and express yourself certainly has, that's a whole nother conversation. People who naturally talk like this all the time, learning to undo that kind of stuff. But there you go, another observation, another great observation.